Yeah, and I should be recording this so everybody can hear. So Val, so we just celebrated Laura having a victory of enrolling somebody this week, and we were saying this person enrolled on a system, but we still want to follow this Forever Pack guide. And so those of you watching the recording, whether somebody enrolls on a Forever Pack or a system, still schedule that 3-way call to create the team culture and the duplicatability and to use the verbiage to encourage them to talk to friends and become a consultant and earn that $150 bonus before it goes away. So Val, what kind of victories do you have for us?
I am still working on our music minister at my church. We never got a chance to sit down and meet last week. But he came and found me this morning and said, hey, what's your availability in the next couple of days? Could we maybe meet tomorrow afternoon or Tuesday morning? I said, yeah, I'm super available either of those times. So we're still trying to find a time to sit down and kind of talk through some options with him. But I think if I get him, it'll be him and his wife. And it would be super easy for them. They have grown kids who are about the same age I am. And they have one son.
Back up the story a little bit to tell people how cool it was that you were able to intertwine it into the conversation last week.
Oh yeah, we were just out so our music minister and I and our organist from the church go to dinner together every Wednesday night after our church events and everything are all over. But it's almost always a place where we are eating like fried food or, we go out for, most of the time we go to Chili's because it's 2-for-1 drinks on Wednesday nights. And so you can get 2 margaritas for the price of 1. But we're sitting and talking and he's, talking a little bit about how he's, in his 50s and he's feeling like he's, kind of figuring out a different thing. And he's like, I'm in between all of my clothes right now. I'm too small for my fat clothes, but I'm too big for my skinny clothes. And I just feel, like I need to get back on it and not figuring things out. And so I just kind of shared with him, you know what, that's exactly where I was a year ago. And like, here's where I'm at. These are a couple of the victories that I've had, and I would love to tell you more about it. And then I have a folder on my phone where I keep all of my like Isagenix associated photos and stuff, all of my transformation photos. I keep other people's transformation photos from people that I know. And so because he's about the same age as you, Jody, or he and his wife are probably a few years older than you, but because they are, I pulled out you and Randy's photo and I said, here, this is my coach and her husband. And like, they've been huge in helping me with this journey. And like, I've seen them age in reverse over the last 5 years. Well, I've seen them, or 6 years while I'm watching them go through this process. And so that was something that really sparked his interest. And so even though we haven't been able to sit down, it's been almost a week now since we had that conversation. So even though we haven't been able to sit down and talk about it, he still wants to know, and we're trying to find a time to sit down. And
that's where it's going to be really important for you to post some transformations. Keep that curiosity peaked. You know what I mean? And so I want to stop for just a second because I think this may be one of the first times the 3 of you guys have been on a call together. So Laura is in Iowa you're under Todd and Autumn, correct?
Yes.
Reynolds. And then Val is my girl that was at Baylor, and I'm so sad they lost yesterday. That she was in. Yeah, I know. Did they have to play Gonzaga next? Seriously. My granddaughters kept going, can we watch a kid's show? I'm like, nope, sorry, it's my birthday. We're watching basketball. It's March Madness, sorry. And so she graduated in theology, and she's out in Tennessee in Knoxville. And Marcy is our feisty little mighty might, I call her. She's a, 4th degree or 5th degree now?
4th degree, testing for 5th degree soon.
4th degree black belt, so don't get in Marcy's way. And she owns a martial arts studio with her husband.
I've been crazy busy training all weekend. My arms are a little sore.
It was so fun because Jim sent me video of when she was doing her testing, and I was like, I'm like watching you do the nunchucks. I'm like stand behind you. You can bodyguard me.
So fun fact. My son, when we were in Las Vegas competing and training, was specially invited by one of the masters who is in Pennsylvania to come and train for sparring, fighting. And so he went there with another instructor of ours. and I packed them all with nitro and recovery and hydrate. And I'm like, make sure you take all this stuff. So he was there, and every time they do one of these trainings, they invite one person out of the entire group, one female, one male, one boy, one girl, to be invited for the national team tryout. And he sent me a snapshot. They're not even home yet, but he was the one who got the golden ticket. He got invited. Yay!
Nice.
So he got invited. And
This is Daniel?
Daniel, yeah.
Oh,
He does the bars, and then he does the amps line. So
that is
he's-
awesome.
He's revved up. Hopefully he'll be taking his recovery all the way home. He told me he was. He said he's a little sore.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we're just going over victories, and Val was sharing how there's a guy from her worship team that's been asking, and they haven't had time to meet yet. So really this whole keep posting, whether it's your victories, how you're feeling, convenience, other people's transformations, because like we heard on Lisa's call, people without even ever commenting, all of a sudden they're ready. And so I truly believe that it's the secret stalkers, that the consistency is what's going to get them to turn. And so we need to be very conscious about that. Do you have any other victories you want to share with us, Marcy?
Just that, the testing that I did in Las Vegas, I found out that I passed with flying colors. So that's one step towards the 5th degree. The very first step, it was very good success. And I used all of my products the whole time I was there.
Did anybody ask you about them as you were like making a shake or making your recover?
Yes, as a matter of fact, a couple of the school owners, because I brought out my little blender, the one that I told you about, and they're like struggling to scrounge for food in between seminars and training. And they're like, what's that? And I'm like, it's my shake. I'm telling you about the shake. And so one of them said, I'm going to have to get back to you with how that's working out for you.
Hopefully you swapped information with people who asked you.
Yeah, well, he's a school owner friend of mine, so I have all his information.
Okay, awesome.
So I'll have to get a hold of him for that as well.
Okay, very cool. So did any of you watch the recording from Wednesday before I start on the things I wanted to talk about?
What did you talk about? I don't remember.
Talking about team culture and mindset.
I usually do, but I might not have watched that
Okay,
one.
I just didn't want to duplicate it if I had. So what I talked about, so you guys don't have to go back and watch it if you don't want to, is that I think all of us realize that mindset is critical, whether it's the consistency for our physical journey, whether it's the beliefs on the possibility and opportunity on the business end. And, we all know that our business does this. It is never this. I'm sorry, anybody who tells you it's this, it's like saying that a teenager is going to go and have this trajectory instead of looking like this, because, we all have them. At least I do. So, we're going to have peaks and valleys. And you hear on stage all the time, people say the only way to lose is to quit. And so, this is where we need to work on mindset. And I think mindset has been way underplayed. And so whether it is healthy mind and body, whether it is reading books, listening to podcasts, whether it's oh my gosh, I can't think what the name of the thing is where you can get the free podcasts. Oh, it's the one that Susan and Cindy promote all the time through Rod Hairston. It's going to come to me. I'm having a blank on what it's called. That there's many programs. So what I want to hear is, what do you guys do specifically, and how do you encourage your team to build on mindset?
So my mindset stuff is all something I've been working on for 8+ years. Jody, I've told you about this. 8 years ago, I was introduced to a personality system called the Enneagram. And it's sort of personality theory and sort of spiritual development, and really a method of knowing yourself for spiritual growth and mindset shift, and finding ways to communicate and do well with other people. So I've been studying and reading and really looking at this for the last 4 years more seriously. And this year, 2019, I'm participating in a cohort program with a master teacher who's written several books. She's based out of Dallas, and so I'm in a cohort with 42 other people and participate in weekly discussions. I do Zoom calls with a group of women every week from my cohort, and I'm really focusing on that this year in particular as my big mindset thing. And what I've noticed more than anything else is that it helps me to find ways to communicate with people that are not just the way I want to be communicated with, but instead it helps me to find my center and then be more open to other people's center of being.
Right. Yep. Has anybody else done the Enneagram? And I wish I would have remembered that, Val, because I just ordered 3 books, which I'm going to have Randy bring in to me this week, like I need to replenish some stuff on Amazon, and I completely forgot about that, to order that book. But
it's called Enneagram, A-N-Y.
It's Enneagram.
Okay.
And if it's your first time ever reading about it, learning about it, the book I would recommend is called The Road Back to You by Suzanne Stabile. That's Stabile. And Suzanne is the teacher that I'm learning with and training under this year. She's the most phenomenal person. But that book is just really a general primer and an introduction to the system to kind of dip your toes in, get your feet wet. And then there's tons of other teachers, tons of other resources. Hey, everyone and their brother in the evangelical Christian world is doing this right now, but everybody's kind of like just doing enough to know a little bit and be a little bit dangerous and not do enough of it for their own health.
I.e. my son. This is like exactly. All over Willow, all over Baylor. Everybody's talking about the Enneagram.
Prime candidate number 1. So it really is. It's a wonderful spiritual development tool. It's a wonderful way to work on your self-awareness. Suzanne says the key to it is non-judgmental self-observation. So,
okay.
A little teaser.
Okay. And how about you, Laura?
Unmute myself. Yeah, I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Who are your favorite? Like, who do you listen to?
I have a lot of different ones. And I really like listening to Rachel Hollis these days.
So I've never read her book or heard her, but I know everybody and their brother is doing the Girl Wash Your Face and Stop Apologizing, that one of these days I have to read those too, but I hear a bunch of great things. My chiropractor's actually doing a book study through her office with her. So I've heard they're fantastic, but I just personally haven't read them yet.
Yeah, and she has a podcast, and then her and her husband together have a podcast.
Okay.
And they're both wonderful, just wonderful. But I got to share with you a book I just bought.
Ooh.
I've heard of that.
This doc.
Wait, we lost you. We lost your volume.
Hello?
There, we can hear you.
Yeah.
This doctor was just on Good Morning America on Tuesday talking about this book. And I didn't work on Tuesday. I went right out Tuesday and bought it. And I think I didn't read any of it yesterday, and I haven't today, but I'm on like page 136, and I'm not a fast reader.
How much of it follows ISA? Or is it an ISA peep?
They do talk about telomeres.
So what was it? I missed the picture, Laura.
Eat to beat disease.
Oh, eat to beat disease. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
But it just talks about, so much different parts of your body and what foods will help with what disease, and, if you have cancer, you don't want to grow a lot of blood vessels. But if you have like injuries, like especially skin injuries or something like that, you want to grow more blood vessels so that will recover faster. So it talks about what to eat for both of those things. And yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot. And it's 400 pages,
Right.
the whole book. So I'm a little over a fourth of the way through, and then it lists, different foods for different things. And there is some recipes. I'm trying not to like jump around in the book. I'm trying just to read it from the front to the back, but it's hard because I just want to get to where, the information is about the food. But I mean, like, it even goes as far as to tell you what specific types of apples to eat, not just apples in general. There's 3 that are better for you. Yeah, Granny Smith Delicious and a different one. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like, yeah, and he like goes into specifics on like where certain foods should come from, what part of the country or other countries, and like tomatoes are good for you, but not just plain red tomatoes. And so I'm not really to the part where he's going to really go in depth on that yet, but I mean, it's just kind of crazy.
Okay.
And he's got this thing where you pick 5 foods, and I don't know if it's supposed to be 5 different foods that you eat 5 times throughout the day, or like on one day you eat those 5 foods and then the next day you eat a different 5. Sorry, I'm cooking my husband or baking him cookies. That's why I'm in my kitchen.
There you go.
Anyway, I am just like blown away. And there was a part where they did talk about telomeres. Don't ask me what it said.
So an older
been
book
doing
that's
a lot
very
of
similar
highlights.
to that is an ISA person book by Dr. Michael Colgan is called The
Oh my gosh, that's the one I'm rereading right
I was
now.
going to say, I told
Really?
Marcy about it. It's called The Anti-Inflammatory Athlete at Any Age.
Yeah.
And it talks about the foods you should have every day, like the anti-inflammatory foods you should have every day, like garlic and onions and help me out, is it cumin, or I forget what they all are. But it's a great book. But when you read The Anti-Inflammatory Athlete at Any Age, it's basically laying out isogenics. It talks about.
I know, it was the weirdest thing. I'm like, it says nothing about isogenics on here, and this is like word for word isogenics. Like,
but when you have that person who's dead set against isogenics and you want to backdoor them, you have them read this book, because he talks about.
I sent that book to one of the masters. I'm like, because she was talking about how she's trying to, oh my gosh, she's trying to get herself back into shape, and she's doing this. She tested also in Las Vegas, and she hurt herself. She hurt her ACL or something like that. And so I told her, I'm like, Master Newberry, you've got to get this book. And she said, okay, because she's been approached by it from somebody else, actually, my friend Marissa.
Yep.
And she's just not having it. And so she's all into books and reading the books. And I said, you've got to get this book. So she promised me she'd get it, but I don't know if she got it already. So I've been revisiting that book, and it's phenomenal. So if you know of anybody who is athletic or an athlete or a chiropractor, this speaks volumes to the
Anti-Inflammatory Athlete at Any Age.
Yeah, I can get the book and show you the cover. It's in the other room, but
and they actually tell Susan Sly's story in there. And so those of you who don't know Susan Sly's story, is she has MS, but she has been symptomatic free for like 12 or 14 years. And she used to be an Olympic marathoner, to almost being paralyzed, to now running Boston's again.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it is isogenics. It just doesn't call out isogenics, and he is an isogenics person.
Well, from what I gathered, he did all that stuff before he actually even did isogenics. I had to like Google some videos, because I'm like, dude, is this guy isogenics or not? Because it's driving me nuts. He says nothing about it.
Because he talks about toxin release and water intake and filtered water and all of it. So yeah,
everything.
So what do you do, Marcy, for mindset? Are you still there, Marcy?
Did we lose her?
She may have gone to grab her book. So while we're waiting for her to come back, you guys know I am a podcast junkie, and I'm really a Chris Harder secret stalker, that I just grew up with such a bad mindset around money, and I have a lot of, I'll call it Catholic guilt around money. And so he just brings me back to a much more generous, grace-filled posture and perspective, that I have a completely different perspective now than I did 3 years ago before listening to his podcasts. And so I love Chris Harder's For the Love of Money, because if you've never listened to him, there are podcasts where he interviews people from all different businesses and talks about why they think that it is our duty to be generous and give back to other people. And so for me, that's a really great mind shift. I have done Healthy Mind and Body, and that's where we're going to come back to in a couple of minutes. The company, the one I couldn't think of off the top of my head is Growth U. So Growth U has programs you can pay for that are 60 or 90-day programs, but they also have a free, just like a daily quote of the day to put you in the right mindset. So to get the daily 360 quotes, that's free. So if you want to go to Growth U and sign up for that, Val, that's probably what John Stankiewicz talked about at the Super Saturday you were at, is he and his mom, Susan, do a lot of Growth U programs, as well as Cindy and Tyler. So growthu.com is that one. But, so I just went on this spree of book ordering. And so Laura, since you are married, this is a Proverbs 31 Bible study saying, keep showing up, which I've never done an online Bible study before. So this is brand new to me. And it says how to stay crazy in love when your love drives you crazy. And so that starts April 1st. But my very favorite author and favorite person to follow at all as far as leadership is John Maxwell, which I got to hear him speak once at Willow. He has a brand new book, and actually Chris Harder interviewed him about this book about a month ago, which is why I bought the book. And it's called Leadership, and I forget how many shifts there are. There's like 7 or 8 shifts in how you're supposed to think and lead. So I literally just got these yesterday. So Leadership is going to be my mindset for 2019. And then
Rachel Hollis interviewed him also.
Okay. I love John Maxwell. And then this is a book that, since you guys, I think, are all people of faith here, one of the girls in Moms of Teens showed me this one that she read one page and I'm like, I've got to get that book. And it's called Grace Faced, Discovering Timeless Truth Through Seasons of the Heart. And Val knows this, that parenting teenagers is my ugliest season of life ever, which I'm anxiously waiting to get out of this season of life. And having a soft heart and grace is extremely challenging for me with Mark's second son especially. And so this is to hopefully help me be a better mom. So I have like the better mom, I have the better wife, and I have the better leader. So these are my 3 new books. And if you don't know, I used to despise reading, that I've read more in 5 years than I have in 30. So I'm not a fast reader. These will take me a really long time, but this is what I'm diving into. But I also think it's really important that we as leaders do Healthy Mind and Body at least once a year. So when people sign up and I'm walking them through their back office, I show them where the IsaBody is, and then I show them where Healthy Mind and Body is. And I say that. I say, whether it's now or later, I think it's really important to do a Healthy Mind and Body, because all of us have breakthroughs, whether we were told we were fat, whether we were told we'd never succeed, whether we have our own thing of I'm never going to get to executive, or I'm never going to whatever that is. That it's just a program to help you break through whatever breakthroughs you need to have. And so have either of you done Healthy Mind and Body before yet?
Yeah.
Okay. So it takes about 10 to 15 minutes a day. It costs $40 to do it. But after the end of the 60 days, you get a coupon for $45. So you make $5 doing it. So I did a Facebook Live on Shooting Stars last week that I want us as leaders to stand up and join arms and do this together and encourage our team to do it together. So I have not officially signed up for Healthy Mind and Body yet, but I'm going to before April 1st, so sometime this week. But I would love for us to come together as leaders and promote this together, because where was I? I guess it was at our Super Saturday. They were talking, and because I've always been a person of fitness and I've always been a person who loves to work out and intrigued with health, I forget what a drastic change this is for some people. You know, for some people, this is daunting. Or they were that fat kid that the school nurse was like, oh my gosh, you're heavier than I am. Like, or some people, it's such a drastic change, they're overwhelmed. And this is exactly the program to go with it. And when we started Isagenix, they didn't have this. They only had IsaBody. And then they came out with it our second year because they said, we want to support your physical state and your emotional state. And I think this tool gets way underutilized and way under promoted. And so I'd like us as leaders to talk about and really encourage our team to do Healthy Mind and Body together. So whether it's today or in the next month, that's what I'm going to encourage. All right, I just got my warning that I have 10 minutes left. So that was my piece on mindset. Lisa, we were just on a team call. So Lisa, I guess, used to do Monday night calls, and I never even knew it. Somehow I missed that on Fuel to Achieve. So she now is going to be doing Sunday night calls every Sunday at 7 p.m. So I personally will be logging into the 7 o'clock calls and then just hopping on to these, which you're welcome to do as well. But she talked about on the 7 o'clock call, they're really promoting the ICUs. So the 4 core events are Celebration in August, NYKO in January. Then they have ICU, which is basically, Val, a 2-day Super Saturday. And then they have one that's called, oh my gosh, I can't think of what it's called, but it's the one that David T.S. Wood does, and it's all mindset geared. That's actually my favorite of IC University. UIA, University in Action. University in Action is all mindset. That one I was actually scared to death to go. And now that I did it a year and a half ago, I would do that one all over again every year. Like, that was my favorite one. I haven't seen any UIAs posted, but what the feedback Isagenix was getting is that there were too many ICUs because they used to do 3 or 4 of them a year. So they kind of swung the pendulum the opposite direction, and now there's only one, and it's one weekend in May. And unfortunately, we're not available, but it is the weekend of May 4th. I think it's the 3rd and 4th. It's either the 3rd and 4th or 4th and 5th. And there's 2 locations. So there's an East Coast and a West. The West is Vegas. Is the West Vegas? And the East is, help me out, Laura. Atlantic City. So Lisa's doing a post that if you sign up, you get a ticket or something in there, points or something for you. But if you get your personal PETs enrolled, then you get 2 tickets. And so they're really trying to promote this past just first line people. And so pay attention to Fuel to Achieve, because they're calling it Conference Cash. So you'll probably see more info on that. Okay, I got 7 minutes left. The other thing I wanted to talk about is we have our weight loss team challenge. Now, just so you guys know, we did not hit our 20 people, and I'm super, super sad about this because we have hundreds of people on IsaJourney. We have over 3,000 people on our team. It should have been a lay down to get 20 people involved on the team challenge. We got 15, and I'm still going to recognize first and second prize and make a certificate. But, you know, it has to be worth our while to also put out money. We need people participating because we're tired of throwing money out there and there being lack of participation. So we may give something small to the first and second prize winner, but it was a little frustrating for us that here we are, the second challenge in a row, we didn't have enough people participating to really dole out the cash. So when we're coming up with incentives, whether it's Lisa's incentive, our incentive, and don't forget, she still has that Forever Pack incentive that for every Forever Pack you sell in the month of March, to put down the person's initial and the date you enrolled them on her thread, that she's doing a drawing and giving away 3 Isagenesis bottles, obviously when it comes back in stock. So I think together as leaders, we need to stand in posture and keep promoting these team challenges as we're doing them. And then the last part is the Own Your Life influencers. So I can't remember if I had actually talked to you guys about this before, but it's basically another step of recognition where if you look on either ISA for Wealth, which is Cindy's leader page, I put it on Shooting Stars and Racing to Executive, that when you enroll 10 personally enrolled people and promote 2 consultants, you become an Own Your Life influencer. You'll get special recognition on the team pages, your profile page, and special recognition at the team party at Celebration. So this is something we want to keep on our forefront and keep promoting within our team as well, because the Own Your Life influencers, like, they're going to use a certain graphic and they really want to start promoting these. So, hey, Marcy, welcome back. We're down to the last 5 minutes before I'm going to be timed out on my Zoom, which I may have to upgrade it past the free Zoom so I don't have to worry about this being timed out. We were talking while you were gone about mindset and just making sure everybody does Healthy Mind and Body at least once a year. So I did a Facebook Live that I'm encouraging everybody to do Healthy Mind and Body right now, and encourage our teams to do that, so that we all are working on our mindset, especially as we do this with either our physical journey or our business. Is there anything you guys want to talk about in our last 4 minutes before we have to go?
I don't think so. Talking to you reminded me that I haven't heard back from the McLeods, and so I'm literally sending Audra a message on Instagram right now to try to get in touch with them to find more people who are local here in Knoxville.
And ask her if she's doing a team meeting, like a team meeting for that area.
There's someone in my building or the next building over who's also an ISA person, because I keep going and throwing things in my recycling dumpster, and there's always other boxes in there. There's someone else in this apartment complex using this system really consistently, and I don't know who they are, and it's really getting to me.
Do you have a bulletin board that you could be like, who was the other ISA peep here?
I could, I don't know, go put notes on the washers in the laundry room or something.
Yeah.
Are you an Eugenics person? Come see apartment 172. That's not creepy at all. I'm not doing that.
Well, I would love if she has a team meeting, just for you to kind of recap and hear what you learned. So keep us posted on that. So definitely stay engaged. Don't forget, it's the 100, anybody who still joins in the month of March, if they promote a consultant just by adding 2 people, they'll get $150 instead of $50. The other thing I will talk about real quickly before we get timed out, that was on the Wednesday recording, was really doing more in team culture and team community. So in the past, we've done a couple service things. We did a blood drive in my driveway one year. We did a food truck serve at Christmas. I found a local, so I know it's a haul for you, Marcy, out in Crystal Lake. There is on April 28th at 8 a.m. It's a Sunday morning. There is a superheroes, you'll love it, Marcy, a superheroes race. And it is for the Pioneer Center, which are adults that are mentally challenged adults. And it is to raise money for them. And I said, how cool would it be to have our team show up in either ISA body shirts or some kind of ISA gear and walk or run together as a team. And I want to say the entry was like $10 or something. It really wasn't expensive. But I would love for us to come together with either more serve opportunities, and because we're a health and wellness company, more runs or walks to promote things and build on that team culture. And so Val, be sure and let Micah know, we have this going. And if you guys who are out of state want to try and create and do something, whether it's a serve opportunity or a run walk opportunity, I think building into that team culture is another way we can grow. So I can tell this is going to time me out because it's saying I have less than a minute. So keep up the good work, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Okay.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.